Welcome to the Radioactive Podcast. What's going on with this now, Backwoods?
What
There
are
we
you
go.
doing? What is?
I don't know.
I
Welcome to
like
the Radioactive
well,
Podcast. Can we get a 5x5, please? Go
I
ahead.
like you and stuff, man. But I don't want to be that close to you,
You
bro.
don't be all up in my grill like that, man.
Yeah, man. What's up?
How's everybody doing? We should be live. I know. I can't believe it.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
All right. Rock says we are 5x5. Folks, we're going to have a party this morning. Kind of, sort of. It's episode 21, Backwoods. We're turning 21 this morning.
Well,
That's crazy. Most podcasts don't even make it like episode 10. Here we are sitting on 21. So whatever you got over there drinking, brother, you drink it with pride this morning. Who we got in the house, man? You want to go through the chat here?
for a minute, yeah, Weekend McSlaps, Chair Bear, Toolmaker, Zombie, Pumps, Paradise Acres, Bama Gin, Dylan. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Outdoor Norway. What's up? Lita Knowles. What's up? Katrinka, how you doing, Ed? Days, everybody. Cherokee, what's up? Redfish, Steph, Clint, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing this morning?
See, I'm pulling them up on the screen as you shouting them out. So this is
Mark
working out
Nanny,
okay.
what's
So
up? Mark Nanny.
Rambo, I see Rambo's up in here. What's going on, brother?
Look at there, Justin from Arkansas. That Justin must be a fine fella. He's from Arkansas.
So we both watched the debate. You watched it live. I watched the replay. I was sitting down to watch the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Got on YouTube and saw that you had posted a video. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on real quick. Man, you posted a pretty fire video, and I still don't know everything about what happened, but you said you wanted to address it here for a moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to address something. Basically, I made a video yesterday about racism and hatred and all that. And, a lot of people wanted to know who it was that made a comment. And it's a lot of, I'm not going to tell who made the comment. That's, it happened. It was over. We handled it. It was done. The one thing I did want to address is, in case someone saw it, in the comments, I did delete the comments, but someone, said that I had hearted and thumbs up some Nazi symbols. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? I ain't never hearted no damn Nazi symbols, And so basically, they made a couple of comments, and after reading through a couple of comments, they came at me pretty sideways and shit, which was, you know how that rolls. Yeah. It's like,
it was a mistake.
Yeah. So whatever. But I wanted to address the comment real quick on I'd hearted and thumbs up a Nazi symbol. Okay. What happened was, finally, after about 3 or 4 comments, the person said it was on the video of things that make you go hum that I made. And it was basically 2 lightning bolts. So once he said it, I went back and looked. There's no context in the comment that he's talking about. It's just 2 lightning bolts. And so after he brought it up, you know what I'm saying? And I went back and looked at the video. I thought, okay, I could see where this could be construed as the SS, Nazi symbols. You know what I'm saying? So I removed that comment as well. I just wanted to address that real quick this morning. There ain't nothing about me that likes Nazis. I don't like racism. I don't like none of that bullshit, and I'm not going to put up with it. So, I just wanted to address that real quick. That's all we need to talk about. It's over, done. The comments are gone. Let's move forward. You know what I'm saying?
He's got a video. Again, he posted a video on his channel here on YouTube last night talking about it, if you need to know more about it. But you just got rid of the person on your channel, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. Sometimes people say, John, you're deleting my comments. No, I don't delete comments up here. I delete people. If there's a comment that's over the line that much, I just kick them to the curb and move on, man. I ain't got time for that. But yeah, that's what you got to do. I bet you Joe Biden wishes he could delete that debate off the internet, though.
Man, let me tell you. Yeah, boy, man, I sit and watched it, and dude, I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. Me and my wife sat there and watched, and we couldn't believe it, man. It was, dude. What we sit here and we laugh and we make fun of it, and it's ha ha, it's funny. But in real reality, man, it's not very funny because see what people don't take into real quick, Art Nanny. That's when I very first saw. I remember hearting that particular comment. All of them. You know what I'm saying?
This was months ago, right?
Like 3
This
months.
comment was months ago.
Yeah, it was months ago, and so yeah, I put the explosions and like lightning strikes and shit, thinking, boom, boy, you hit the point, bam, But anyway,
Right.
enough about that. So, but I appreciate that, Art and Andy. But anyway, so, yeah, man, it's one of them deals where, um, you've got world leaders out there that watch that debate, that deal with Joe Biden. This is why Trump hit a point last night that I think is very, very important. Putin knew better than to go in on Ukraine while he was president. You had a man in Trump who walked across the demilitarized zone by himself,
Right.
and shook Kim Jong Un's hand. That spoke very loud volumes to world leaders around the world. You know what I'm saying? That because you, like in the Asian culture, for instance, I know that there is a saving face thing. That it is a long known history of I forgot what it's called exactly, but where like some of them who have been failures or whatever, they kill themselves with
Yeah.
with a sword. Japanese, Asian cultures, period. And so they look at people, you know what I'm saying, these other leaders as strong. You know what I'm saying? Is are you strong? How should we really mess with that dude? If we screw around, will he turn us into a glass parking lot? You know what I mean? Or will he stand up there and mumble words that hell he don't even know what he's saying?
Yeah.
Much
Trump
less.
pointed that out last night.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to look at I seen a poll this morning from CNN who said that 67% went for Trump in their poll on who won the debate, and 33% voted for Biden. And I thought to myself, what kind of idiot watches that last night and thinks that Biden did a good job?
People that despise Donald Trump, they'll never admit that when I watched this debate, I thought Biden was going to be so hopped up on drugs he would make it 30 minutes before he started stumbling. Brother,
Man,
he didn't make it 2 minutes. He
man,
was
yeah.
tripping over words. He talked about being from Scranton, and then after that, it was off the cliffs. And I said, man, it was actually a good format. I remember saying, I don't know if I would do this if I was Trump, but it was a great format, not being able to argue back and forth and interrupt, because now you have Joe Biden for 2 minutes solid trying to string words together. And it was
Well,
just everybody saw it, man.
yeah, real quick. You the man 18 says actually the debate looked bad on Trump. Looked like he was picking on an old man. No, see,
That's
that's
not Trump's fault, though.
no, yeah, and see, everybody's got to understand, man. We're talking about the president of the United States, man. If you can't, there's like an old saying: if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Biden went at him multiple times as well. Called him lots of names, including a convicted felon and all that. So, I sorry, my personal belief, I think that when you get on the debate stage asking for the most powerful position in the United States, all bets are off, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, it just is what I mean. That's just my opinion. You know, you the man has the right to their opinion. You know, and everything. It's all good. Um, you
You can
know,
only debate the person that's on the stage with you, though.
yes, exactly.
He has no control over that. He was probably embarrassed to be up there with Biden, because throughout history now he's going to be tied to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden can't even speak. He
Right.
kept it was like a whisper fight with Joe Biden. I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but he's like mumbling and whispering, and it's crazy, man.
I personally think Trump did pretty good through most of the debate. I was disappointed a couple of different times when, he like he didn't answer the question directly, like
No, he
for
didn't.
the child care. He really never answered that straight out. You know what I mean? And I'd really like to have heard his opinion or what he plans on doing with child care. I know that my sister, for instance, she was she was a single mother, raising my niece, and it was hard on her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She worked and did stuff with the kid and all this, and she struggled, man. I mean, we had to help her multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the years. And a lot of it was, she had to go to work, and childcare was very expensive,
Yeah.
and it really is. And I don't know the true answer on what to do for the child care thing, but I think it is something that needs to be addressed in this country,
It
to make
is.
it a little easy.
One thing that Trump was doing that I didn't really care for, and he did this several times, was they would move on to the next topic, and he would spend half of his time going back and rehashing the topic they just got off of. And I hate to give CNN credit, but I got to give credit where it's due. They were asking legitimate questions that people cared about.
They
You know
did.
what I mean?
They did.
Um,
I was not impressed. I ain't never impressed by CNN, but I was surprised. I was like,
yeah.
okay, they're asking Joe some hard questions too. And but they got kind of gave it away that Aaron Burnett or whatever, I think it was, gave it away last night. Later on, after the debate, she said Trump had the questions, or no, I'm sorry, Biden said Biden had been working on this for a couple of 3 weeks, multiple practices and whatever, and she said he knew what questions were going to be asked him, and so some people have already brought up that, well, I thought they weren't supposed to know the questions.
He's so bad mentally. I think, because he's deteriorating fast, man. I think it's so bad that they could give him the questions a week ahead of time, let him write the answers on his arms, and he would still lose that debate. Like, I mean, he just, there's nothing about that debate. He was bringing up his golf handicap score. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm tough. I got a handicap of 6 back when I was. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything?
Well, and see, I've seen a couple of people say they think that they was that he was fed the questions, and then like G Puckett says Biden did have an earpiece, and it looked like he did. There is because I caught it during the debate. He goes like this, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and it kind of looks like he might have had an earpiece in place, and he was like adjusting it or
He's
whatever.
he's so far gone though, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like they would at this point they would have to run their hand literally up his back and like a puppet and do the talking because otherwise,
Well, I
I
was
mean,
curious. Did you? I don't know if anybody caught this, but they I don't know if he had like some kind of one of them, where you can push the button and inject stuff, or didn't they take like a break or something for?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and Biden kept talking to somebody or whispering to somebody in the back. I
yeah.
don't know who he was talking to. I did see on social media, it's rumored that Gavin Newsom was there to help him out during the breaks and stuff. But I'm like, can't nobody help this guy, man. He's too far gone.
What's up, J9? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well too, brother. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That I was
Yeah.
disappointed in the whole golf thing. I really thought that Trump would have done even better, even more so. Because I seen somebody put in the chat a while ago that he got like an 87, like a B, a good B plus, and I'm about there myself, on his performance. I think that he should have. I'd said it before the debate ever happened. I kept saying that he needs to focus on the economy, immigration, and fentanyl. Them are
Yep.
three of the biggest things that are really hurting Americans the most. He did. Now Trump did touch on the immigration and it hurting certain groups of people and stuff, and that is true. It does hurt all Americans because they come in and they'll work for pennies on the dollar, and and some of them are really good workers. I'm not discrediting that at all, but you're here illegally, and Americans should get the job first.
J954, I'm not dodging that comment. My wife likes the beard like this. I go to bed with her at night. I ain't worried about what nobody else thinks.
My
So I'm good with it, man.
my wife prefers me to have a beard like Nation as well, but I'm the man in the family, and I wear the
Oh,
pants.
okay. You shot calling over
I'm
there.
messing with.
No right to speak for you, man.
I had to say it, brother. I had to say it. I had to say it.
So,
Um,
CNN, their headline this morning when I woke up is literally Biden disappoints, Trump lies and deflects. Do you agree with all that?
Trump lies and deflects.
Yeah, I think he was deflecting. Maybe that's fair because he wasn't answering all the questions. He was kind of
Yeah,
jumping here
I'll
and
give
there. I don't know that he was lying all that much, though. You know what I mean? Biden definitely disappointed, man.
right. Yeah, I mean, anybody that watched that and tries to justify anything in saying that Biden is competent, that you're believing a lot of foolishness. You know what I mean? These See, there's been a big problem in our country lately of people pretending, and we're supposed to accept it, and this is when it comes down to, let's just use people that think that they're a cat and want a litter box in the classroom.
Oh yeah.
That's pretend, man. You're not a fucking cat, you know. And that's what it leads to, is that they want us to pretend like Joe's okay, and he's not. And really, it's a shame. My personal opinion is Jill Biden and everybody that surrounds him should be brought up on some kind of charges for like elderly abuse or whatever. I'm just being honest about it. Um, if Trump acted like that, you know what I'm saying? It had showed the signs of dementia. These kind of. I would say the same thing about Trump. They need to get him out of there. He's a
Oh,
joke.
they're getting ready to get Biden out of there. We're going to
Oh yeah.
talk about that real
Oh
real
yeah.
quick, man.
Mhm.
If you're in the chat and you wear the pants in your house, press 1. If you don't wear the pants in your house, press 2. And please be honest. I just dropped a 2.
Well,
Be honest.
you might have to be more specific. Some people have dirty minds. I don't.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Come on, man. So, another headline that there's mostly ones in here. Some people ain't being honest. 3, we are equal. Okay, I can respect that, Melissa. Another
Right.
quote on CNN, a little article there. What would happen if Biden left the race? They're already talking now about Joe Biden dropping out. This is how bad he did last night. I think Democrats realize he ain't the guy. He's not the candidate. So they listed Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom on CNN as the top 2 candidates. For whatever reason, BBC News listed Gretchen Whitmer as the top candidate to replace Joe Biden. What are your thoughts on those 3?
Man, they don't have anybody, dude. Like real talk. That Gavin Newsom is had a failed state. Period, man. There's people leaving there by the thousands, dude. You know, you step over. You literally step over people who are drug, and laid out on the streets, and the homelessness. The and Whitmer, you talking about the one who
Oh yeah, Michigan.
tried to set up
Michigan's finest.
tried to set up some people, and fake the kidnapping and stuff, man. Come on, man. Who it's the draconian chick that she is. Yeah, no, man.
Yep.
No, that's
The one that smiles in front of the camera, though, she's really good at that.
yeah.
Her and Gavin Newsom both.
Yeah, you know, I think that the economy has gotten bad enough, and things have gotten bad enough in this country that smiling faces is not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but like you were saying, there were 30-some% that thought Joe Biden won the debate last night. There's some dumb people out there, in other words.
Well, I know, but you got to
I
think.
don't know what they saw.
33%, man, that's not enough to win an election. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean, that's a lot of dumb people still
Yeah.
yet, man.
Yeah, and yeah, there, Lewis. That's exactly correct. The McDonald's. There's multiple. With the $20 an
Fast food
hour.
chains, right?
Yeah, $20 an hour, and then they turn around, and it's came out that apparently one of Newsom's buddies owns some kind of restaurant, and he excluded him. He does not have to pay $20 an hour. So these
he was grandfathered out or something.
Yeah, and so I was on a Red Dawn Readiness live stream the other night on the panel, and we touched on some of this, and I'd said that what if they're setting him up for failure? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to. They
ain't got to get too elaborate about it because he's going to fail. Like to set him up for failure, all you got to do is put a microphone in front of him.
Panera Breads. That's the one. That's apparently Newsom's brother, our buddy. I think it was Panera.
McBean is saying never underestimate the level of dumb people, the number of dumb people in this nation.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's. Yeah, I mean, look at all the people who do support Biden. I mean, that's there's some dumb people out here, man, that don't understand the concept of mean tweets. They're, oh my God, he's not acting presidential. What is exactly? So I want to ask you that question, Nation.
All right.
And people in the chat, just a little short, quick, what you think being presidential is. When they say Trump ain't acting presidential, what exactly does that mean? Because I have my thoughts, but I want to hear yours first, bro.
For me, it's somebody that can get up there, be coherent, explain what they're doing to the American people, and you're never going to bring everybody together, but it's somebody that is at least trying to bring all Americans, you know what I'm saying? Like they're working for everybody, not just this little clique over here, not being divisive, you know what I mean? if they sign a presidential order, they're able to get on there and explain why. It helps this individual, it helps this group out. If we're sending tons of money to Ukraine, can they get up there and explain why they're doing this?
Right.
Biden can't do any of that, man. He does nothing but talking about deflection. He does nothing but deflect blame off on Trump for everything
Right.
that has went wrong. He can't string a sentence together to save his life, and he continues to talk about what he wants to do. And he's been in politics for like 50 years, and
Okay. Yeah.
doesn't do it.
Yeah. I agree with that. So when I hear this, that Trump's, they say Trump's not very presidential. The only thing that they've got is what, he's not a statesman. He don't act all prim and proper. The world is about to erupt in World War III. People are talking about nuclear exchange. We don't need a statesman. We don't need someone who is prim and proper. We need somebody that's a bull in a china closet that makes other leaders think, oh shit, this guy don't play around. He will turn you into a glass parking lot. And so that's what we need right now. And the being presidential, to me,
You all right?
am I back?
Yeah.
Am I?
Would you black out or something?
Yeah, freaking, there was just a loud pop and everything flashed. So I guess
Oh, wow.
one of them transformers or whatever just blew over there, sent a surge through. Everything beeped and shit and went off for a second.
Toolmaker says Putin is scared of Trump. Do you think that's the case, or do you think that Putin just? To me, I think leaders like Putin just respect other strong leaders. I don't think they're afraid of Trump. I think they know if we do this, Trump's not going to sit there and just take it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that I don't know if I would go as far as saying that Putin is scared of Trump, but I think he respects him and knows he won't play around. I think he knows that Trump will unleash the might of the military on him, and I'm talking about none of that. Hey, they've got to shoot at you first, before you shoot back, and all that bullshit that Obama and all them did through the, because I've heard multiple people that visited over there in Afghanistan and Iraq and all them places over there, that we was over there for 20 plus freaking years. He untied people's hands. You know what I'm saying? Trump did. He unleashed what you call the real military might, and don't get me wrong, I don't think we won that war at all. But, I think that, just like Syria, I believe it was during the Trump administration, they were, I think, using sarin gas or something like that was on some of their own people and everything. And
Yeah.
there was some stuff going on, and Trump was like, let me show you what we will do. And he blew some shit up over there. Like he struck the hell out.
He lit him up, and then the news talked about it the next day.
Yeah.
Not talking about it 3 or 4 days. Well, the U.S. is prepared to do this. The U.S. prepared to do this.
Yeah.
Just lit him up.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, he just like light him up, and then, the news agencies had to catch up the next day. And so, it's like I've said before, these other country leaders, you have to understand that they have different ideas and different cultures and stuff than we do. A lot of Americans think like Americans. You know what I mean? Because we're in America, we think a certain way. Asians think a certain way. Russians think a certain way. Iraqi, like the Middle East people, they think a certain way. and they have different cultures and things. And so we have to take that into consideration when we're talking about, you know, um, world leaders. And they don't look at Biden. Man, Biden can't finish a sentence. He's stumbling, bumbling. He's tripping and falling
You
everywhere.
can you imagine being a world leader trying to have a conversation with him at one of these meetings, these big global meetings?
Oh man,
You're
yeah.
like you're talking to a kid, man.
It would be one of the moments where you just kind of look over and he gets to stumbling and bumbling, and you just look away from him and just start addressing people. Hey, so what we need to do, and just act like he's not even there. And I guarantee you that's probably what's going on. And I don't think Biden is speaking to the world leaders like they're trying to make it out. I think it's Blinken and some of them folks that are actually speaking to the world leaders. I've not seen hardly any video at all of Biden speaking to world leaders. I mean, have you?
No, I mean, getting back to the debate last night, how could he? Who could hold a conversation with the man? Trump legitimately looked embarrassed to be up there, you know? And some people on social media were saying this is really the best two that we have, but Trump did okay. I mean, he's up there in age and everything. But man, Biden didn't. This dude has the nuke codes.
Right.
And you seen him last night. He was freezing up. He didn't know what was going on, man.
Well, and that's the whole thing, man. Trump is, he's not the be all end all. I don't worship any man at all.
Are you gonna catch some heat, man, in chat?
I
There's some
don't give a
Trump
shit.
lovers out there.
Well, I mean, you can love Trump. That's your right to do it. I will vote for Trump. I believe Trump is the best candidate that is there. That is present. Even if they bring up any of the other, Big Mikes and
They brought up Big Mike too in the chat earlier.
yeah. I think that my personal opinion, I really don't think the Obamas have any interest in being leader. You know what I'm saying, in the presidential spot again, man. They've made their big money. They still have a little power behind the scenes. That's just my personal opinion. I may be surprised, and all of a sudden they announce Big Mike as the the candidate. But I don't think they have any interest in it. That's my personal opinion.
How important now, after seeing the debate, is as Wildfire saying, is Trump's VP pick? Because Trump's up there in age too. He's coherent right now, but we don't know what's going to happen within 4 years if he were to get elected.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion on the VP pick, and I don't think Trump has told anyone, because nobody is. It's not been leaked out. It's just all speculation. And right on, J9.
Forrest, no, I don't think Trump announced a VP last night. Not that I heard anyway.
I didn't hear it either. Oh, it'd have been all over the news this morning if he announced last night. As far as it goes for someone I think would be really strong, I think would do a hell of a job, and I think it would lead him even to, the 2028 candidate, and that's Byron Donalds.
I was getting ready to say, man, I like Ben Carson, but I'm kind of leaning toward Byron Donalds now.
Man,
To
I
be
like
honest with
Byron
you, some of the
Donalds,
stuff
man.
he said lately,
Dude.
he's sharp, man.
Dude, I've been watching Byron for a pretty good while, man, and he's sharp. He don't take no bullshit. There was somebody that
Seems to understand what's going on behind the scenes too.
Man, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. I watched some debate or whatever they were having in the House of Representatives, and some dude got a little uppity and kind of got threatening, you know, kind of bowing up. And Byron was like, "Bud, let's go." He said, "You don't
I
understand, you
see
know."
that.
Yeah, Byron, he jumped up like quick, like bam, let's, you know. And I like that. You know, that's what we need in our White House right now. That's what we need, is somebody that ain't going to take no crap at all.
We
Um,
need to flush these turds, man, and clean the bowl and do something. It's crazy.
yeah,
Um,
was for red flag. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard was for red flag laws. Now Trump has done some stuff against.
he Trump said some stuff last night that I really like, though. You know, they were talking about abortion, but he was also talking about the whiskey shot and other things. I think he had mentioned briefly maybe gun red flag laws or whatever. He wants to leave stuff up to the states. And I don't have a problem with that. You
Right,
know what I mean? He was saying, like, with abortion, he was like, I'm against abortion, but the Supreme Court had ruled, I forget which state it was, to allow late term abortion. And he was like, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to go in and block that, because if the people of that state want that, if
right.
that's what they're voting for, that's their right to do it. He said that's how it should be.
And you know, it's hard to have to say that or agree with that, but I agree with that, you know, because I don't like abortion either, and I don't think it should be legal like that. And especially late term, man, that's horrendous, dude. My God, man. You know, and I've used this analogy because I heard Bill Burr, the comedian, I heard him use this analogy, and I've used this analogy before about abortion. And you know, because the argument on abortion is that it's not a baby in them early terms. It's not a human
Right.
being, which is BS. Because here's the thing: Bill Burr used this deal, and he said it's like if you take cake and you get a box, the cake mix, and it's got ingredients. So you add the ingredients in, you know, the egg and such, and you mix it up, you put it in the oven. Then your friend comes over and says, "Hey, what's in the oven?" Well, it's cake, baking a cake. Dude opens the oven, pulls the pan out, slings it across the floor, and it goes everywhere. And he goes, "That ain't a cake." And he goes,
Yeah.
"Well, if you would have left it alone, it would have been." There has
Yeah.
never been in the
Exactly.
history. There has never been in the history of ever that when there was a pregnancy in a woman, because only women can get pregnant.
Well, they
There was,
saying pregnant people now.
yeah, well, that's man, what the ultimate fuck you to women. You know what I'm saying? That they
Yeah,
do.
you're absolutely right.
They're taking away womanhood, man. What anyway, so yeah, that's a whole nother one there. But the whole point of it is there have never been a history and ever that when there was a pregnancy with a woman, that it was born anything other than a human being. Period.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't need medication, and you wouldn't need all these procedures to get rid of the child if there's no child in the first place. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. And so I could go on to a whole nother deep topic about the abortions, but it'll probably catch a strike when I start saying
Well,
what I'm gonna say.
I think he was touching on other things as well. I think he was saying states' rights is what matters. And if that's, the Supreme Court's going to say, well, they have the right to do that. He was also saying, there's states like Florida, for example, that are the total opposite. And
Right.
so if you don't like how something is set up, if you're a raging liberal and you just got to have 10 abortions a year, you don't live in Florida. You move. You know what I'm saying? And I think he was touching on like the gun laws and things like this, saying it's none of this stuff should be government top down dictated to everybody. It should be up to the states and the people that live there. And I really like the fact that he was talking about states' rights. And of course, Biden was totally disagreeing because he wants huge government.
Well, yeah, man, look, Biden is a freaking joke. I want to say on the abortion thing, yes. Who was it that said it right there? I think it was Ginger Ninja. Yes, absolutely. Organ harvesting is one. The other thing that I just want to say, because I can't help myself, the Democrat Party has always been the party of the KKK and the racist, and they done many things over the years to prove that, and they still are. And I think abortion is one of them. If you go back and look at what Margaret Sanger said, you will understand why they push abortion. That's my personal opinion.
And something that not enough people talk about, man, is the clinics that they set up, like the abortion clinics. It's statistical fact that they target poor people and they target minorities.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those people identify as liberals. And we're sitting over here like we're trying to help y'all out because y'all are being targeted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're trying to stand up for those people, and we get called many things for it backwoods.
Yeah. Well,
on
and
the back end.
you know, yes, James, exactly. And you know, it comes down to one of the things of, you know, if you pay attention and you think deeper than just the outside title or whatever you want to call it there, just that initial look on anything at all, if you look, what the Democrats are doing is absolutely replacement. Think about this for a minute. Think about this one for a minute. You got illegals pouring over the border. There's it's just nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just come on across. And they're bringing all these, and we see they're all fighting age men, right? Now think about this one for a minute. They're passing bills in Congress to send our young people, our fighting age people, overseas, out of the United States. Now think about that one for a minute. They're bringing them in over here, all these illegals, and they're sending our kids.
Us documented immigrants are eligible for the draft. But the undocumented, you know, the illegals, they ain't got to worry about this. They're coming in to take homes, to take jobs. This is going to be their society in 50 years, if not sooner.
Right.
You know, and this is not, oh, I'm Caucasian, I'm pissed off about it. It's other minorities too that's being replaced, you know?
Let me fix my camera.
You're just ugly.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised this camera still works. Like, to be honest, man, it was like a $70 camera from Walmart like 4 years ago, man, and it's been out here in the shop.
You can't shop at Walmart. They're woke.
Yeah, well,
I'm just messing with you, man.
I'll be honest with you, man. 9 times out of 10, we just order shit now and just have it shipped to the house, man.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
Speaking of places that people don't shop because they were woke, Tractor Supply Company, they issued a statement yesterday. I saw this on Blaze TV. I saw it all over social media as well. They are pulling out of ESG scoring, and they said from here on out, they said they've heard conservatives, they've taken it to heart, and they will no longer be sponsoring the rainbow events and stuff like this. Do they get a free pass on this, do you think, first of all, Backwoods?
Man, you know,
think they've learned their lesson and it's time to just go back to Tractor Supply?
Here's yeah, prepping artists. That's funny. No, Man, I'm gonna be honest about this, man. I have struggled with this thought process many times on when a company like Tractor Supply, for instance, goes woke, you go broke. They lost a lot of business. They had a lot of backlash. Do we really want to go in the direction? And I'm just asking a question because I really don't know. I'm really undecided on this. So I want to ask chat. And maybe you can answer it by putting a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Do we really want to be an unforgiving nation? And the reason I say that is because, you know, I know people personally who made mistakes, big mistakes in their life, and they
Yeah.
changed. Do we want to go with, you know, we just are going to hound people to death and never forgive? Because once we become a nation that can never forgive, a lot of people I know in this chat, for instance, are, you know, Christians and have Christian views. One of the things is, you know, I mean, it's supposed to be about forgiveness. Now, the only reason I'm mentioning this is I think that we should, at any given time, from then till the future, at any given time, we should be willing to completely freaking go woke, go broke. You know what I'm saying? We should boycott the shit out of these people and make it known why we are boycotting them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we have to just, hey, I'm gonna go buy every single thing I can now from Tractor Supply. Because I don't, because I never did buy a lot from Tractor Supply because they're kind of expensive. You know, you can actually get better deals in other places. So I think lessons taught by them losing all kinds of money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they're going to come out and change that, I don't know. Do we really say nope? They're done. Fuck them. It's over. We're not ever shopping there again. I mean, if you want to do that, that's your right. I'll be honest with you. I went to Tractor Supply yesterday and bought some grass killer because they sell this certain brand that it comes in a small bottle, and it you can make 21 gallons out of that, and it's $20 and it works very well. And I needed some to finish my jobs yesterday, so you know what I'm saying. I went by there and bought it. Um,
Right.
I don't have chickens anymore. I got rid of my chickens. I only had 3 left. One died the other day, and it was just costing too much. There was not enough compensation there. There was not what I felt. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. You know, the Tractor Supply deal. I mean, do we continue on and just never forgive? I don't know. I mean, I seen a lot of people put 2 in there and things like that, but hell, I don't know, man.
Here's my take on it. So I'm not a huge fan of the cancel culture period. To me, it's just kind of dumb. Like, you know, spend your money wherever you want to. You know what I'm saying? But when companies do go way over the line on stuff, it's not very often that conservatives can actually come together and accomplish something like this. So I think that it's pretty cool that enough people boycotted. I can't believe that it happened, but enough people have boycotted the Tractor Supply Company that they actually are backing away from ESG. And I think at that point you have to let them off the hook because other companies are watching. You
Right.
know what I mean?
A good
And
point.
if they back off of VSG and conservatives go back and they start to patronize the places again, other companies, when they start to lose money, they might back off of VSG. You know what I'm saying? Other companies are watching this, man. And even though I don't really like the cancel culture, when it does work, it's beautiful, man. It's
Right.
beautiful. Now, there are companies that I will never support again just because they've doubled down and tripled down. Disney's the biggest offender. I'll never support Disney, not as long as it's owned by the people that own it now. Just
Yeah.
because conservatives complain, they just slap you in the face. They don't care. They just do it twice as hard, you know? And so for them, forget them, man. I don't spend any money with them.
Yeah, we don't either. And like I said, the Tractor Supply, I never frequented them much at all before any of this shit because they were just they're more expensive. You know, I was looking for grass killer the other day and went into the Wally Worlds and they didn't have nothing but just your, couple of little already pre-mixed shit. And man, you have to buy a lot of that shit. And I have to buy, I mean, I'm using, 12, 14 gallons a day of mix. And, and so if I went and bought the pre-mix, the roundups, that's already, you just spray it on the ground, God
You
dang, man,
spend a lot more.
oh man, that would cost an arm and a leg, where I can get the concentrate, so that Walmart's didn't have it. And Tractor Supply is one of we have one other place in town, and I went by Tractor Supply. They had that little deal. So, that's what I'm saying. It's, you made a really good point of, if conservatives never back off and say, you know what, Tractor Supply's done, we're never shopping there again, I don't care if they apologized or not, it's over. Then other companies are like, well, why should we worry about it
Yeah.
at this point? Because they're not going to come back anyway, so fuck them.
And
That's a
honestly,
really
man,
good point, brother.
if you wanted to nitpick, conservatives can nitpick. You can find a reason to boycott any company. You know what I mean? You were just talking about Walmart. We shop at Walmart, but if I wanted to be that way about it, I'd be like, no, I'm not shopping anywhere that doesn't sell all American stuff. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
some companies treat their employees poorly or something. Like you can find a reason to boycott anybody.
True.
But I think that it's got to be a really, really good reason. I think a lot of people got to come together and get on the same page.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of like J954 is talking about Target, kind of like, Target was doing the pride thing. They've backed off of that now. Last year they had the swimsuits, women's swimsuits for little boys. This year they don't have that anymore because so many people were pissed off and they're just like, we're not doing this.
yeah. I mean, like I said, we need to always be at a moment's notice ready to boycott anybody. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Um, Josh B, I understand that as well. I have a real big problem with these drag queens, man, because they target children. And it's again, it's hard for me. Like I said, I don't shop at Target and I don't shop at Tractor Supply. I didn't to begin with. I've only go into Tractor Supply once in a while when I'm trying to find something for my job. You know what I'm saying? There's
Right.
like 3 places in town I can get shit to deal with my job. And so you know, I've only, if I'm in the middle of the day and I've got to have something now to finish my job, you know what I'm saying? And Tractor Supply has it. I'm going to go by there and get my shit because I have to make money, man. I have to be paid. But as far as it goes for, hey, I'm gonna go down and buy me a new set of work boots for work. I'm not going to Tractor Supply. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That would be the last on my list. If I need a new tool, just for the hell of it, I'm a guy, man. I like tools. You know what I'm saying? But So I'm not going to go to Tractor Supply. I'm just not.
Right.
They're more
Mhm.
expensive. I'm gonna go somewhere else. The only time I go to Tractor Supply is if I've got to have something right now to finish my job. You know what I mean? And I'll bite the bullet and go in there and grab it. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's we do need to. I'm always going to be willing and able and ready to boycott them. I will tell you during that uh, initial boycott on Tractor Supply, I didn't buy shit from them. Even if I needed it, I was like,
I
fuck.
remember you. I remember you telling me backstage you were having to drive further, and it was killing you because you were passing right by Tractor Supply to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Tractor Supply is literally I can walk there in like freaking 6-7 minutes. I mean, it's just right around the corner down here. And so you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's for me. It's a god dang, man. I have friends that have done bad things before and stuff. And even let's put it in this perspective. The 2A community, okay? I am a very staunch 2A guy. There's been a lot of talk about, like let's say a convicted felon, for instance,
Yeah.
and they go in, they serve their time, right? That the state deemed or the federal government deemed that they should serve for the crime they committed. They do their time. Should they get their rights back?
Yeah. I think
You see
so.
what I'm saying? Um, do we hold the same standards across the board, or are we going to be pick and choosing just like people do with the Bible? Because we can look at, let's say, the
Well, let's get into
LGBT.
that.
The
Louisiana and Oklahoma.
well, real quick, the LGBT
Uh,
community. Some of them go to church and try to preach the word of God, and it's like, but you're only picking and choosing what the Bible
Yeah.
says.
Cherry
Love thy
picking.
neighbor,
Yeah.
yeah, love thy neighbor, but yet you're not looking at you're cherry picking what you want. So do we do that in our everyday life? Period. On boycotts and everything. You see what I'm saying? Because um, I don't know. Yeah, and so the Oklahoma,
Louisiana and Oklahoma. What's going
yes,
on there?
the
Let's
Louisiana.
go ahead and set the chat on fire with this one, right?
Louisiana, from what I understand, said that they will be putting the Ten Commandments up in the schools and I think the courthouses as well, and that I guess they passed a bill or whatever that it's law that it goes up in all the schools and everything, and then also the superintendent of Oklahoma school systems come out and said that they will be having the Ten Commandments and all that in their schools, all schools.
That's going to start a firestorm. I'm going to be honest with you. Um, I did see that news. I saw it recently here on Oklahoma. And I mean, as a Christian, of course, I'm glad to see this happening, right? I'm glad to see because our schools have been focused on the wrong things for so long. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, how the rainbow deal is basically like a religion at this point, and schools have been focused on that religion. But at the same time, man, it's a slippery slope because I don't really want my kids learning about Allah, for example, or Middle Eastern religions and stuff in schools and having that forced on them either. So it's tough, man. I see both sides of it. I really do.
Udaman says both things will be overturned. Can you elaborate any further, Udaman, and tell me
They're
what
probably talking about in the court system, but I
you need?
think what's more important here is that we're starting to see that turn where people are demanding this stuff is back in schools and back in courts and things. To me, that's more important. It seems like we're starting to see a turn where people want a more conservative country back.
Well, yeah, there's an old thing about the pendulum, that throughout
Yeah.
history the pendulum will always swing, and I think that from what a lot of people have seen, that it's went too far. It's where people have people have went too far with things. People have hang on just a second, guys, man. My daughter's about to head out. I want to say bye to her.
All right, man.
Hey, girl.
Getting onto the pendulum there for a second. For anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, and a few people had mentioned this in chat. You had a Tractor Supply commercial, Kelly. Really, the pendulum swinging. What we're talking about is liberalism for so long. People are tired of it, and now we're starting to swing to a more conservative country like we used to be.
Yeah, and what happens there is the extremist always causes the pendulum to swing the other way, and I mean that on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
The extremist, because see, you've got your extremist on the right, you got your extremist on the left, and then you have all those that are in the middle, and the ones that are in the middle are the ones that usually sway the elections and so forth, and the way, you know what I'm saying, it because your extremists are always going to be the extremist. They're that's you're always going to have that on both sides of the aisle, but you got all these people in the middle, and you want these people in the middle. They're looking, and a lot of the people in the middle do this right here. They swing back and forth, they're right to left, right to left. The 1 minute they're voting for the left, and the next minute they're voting for the right. And we have to understand that them type of people make up a huge voting block, and I'm not just talking about on a federal level, with your presidencies and such. I'm talking about even on state levels, and which to me is the most important voting is your local elections. You need to be involved locally where you live in your district. That's where it starts. That's where you need to start. That's how you make a difference. You know what I'm saying? We've got a deal up here. I went and signed it, and it's a petition for paper ballots, and they're hand counted. It's a little van that pulled up there, and it said paper ballots on the side, and I was in traffic, and I'm driving by, and I'm like, wait, whoa, what are they talking about paper ballots? I get involved. I'm just saying, I made me a turn and went over there and went and talked to them, and they're trying to get people to sign a petition to do paper ballots, to go back to paper ballots, get away from the Dominion voting machines and all
They
that
need
shit,
to.
and where everything be hand counted from now on. And so I signed it, obviously. I'm like, hell yeah, and I was telling people, hey, y'all come over here and sign this petition, get involved, and I got in my truck and left. But, dude, I mean, that's where everything starts, man, is local. Did anyone see where the left is saying religious people and veterans are Muslim? Oh, they've been saying that for a while. I mean,
Anybody that doesn't agree with their core values, they're too extreme. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
but here's the thing that why no compliance to bullshit is important. Okay, so they did the lockdowns, they did the mask, all that stuff. A lot of people complied with it, and it was due to safety concerns. Public health emergency. I don't know how many people have seen this yet, but the Surgeon General, Biden's Surgeon General, came out and said that gun violence is a public health emergency. So we need to be watching this one, because they're going to try to do the same thing, I think, with guns as they did with the COVID. and say it's a public health crisis, and because now the Surgeon General has said it's a public health emergency, right? That they're going to try to use some draconian bullshit, executive orders or whatever it may be, to do something on guns. Because see, once again, just like the bump stock ban, the reason why a bunch of this shit is getting overturned is because in order for it to be law in our country, it has to go through the House, the Senate, and then signed by the president. When you have, that's why a lot of these bullshit 2A things are getting overturned by the Supreme Court. You can't have executive orders. So you know, if they sign an executive order, if Biden signs an executive order that guns are no longer allowed because of a public health emergency, you do what you want to, but I can tell you,
I would hope people would stand up on that one, you know.
I'm gonna tell you straight out, I will not comply. Do y'all catch that, Fed boys?
And that's what it comes down to, man.
With no bullshit.
The C-19, they got almost total compliance. And so I think anything that they want to get rid of or accomplish, if they can pull it under that medical emergency umbrella, they think they can get full compliance.
Right.
Or close to full compliance, you know.
And yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. That's executive orders were never meant to be law, man. They were never meant to be law. Executive orders were only meant to be for 30 days originally, for 30 days for when Congress couldn't convene and the president could make a decision, and then they could, you know what I'm saying, they could turn around and then Congress, when they got to convene, they would go and look, you know what I'm saying, and say, okay, this part here is constitutional, but this part ain't. He can't do this. And that's what executive orders were for, so that the president can make an executive decision at the moment in a time of crisis. And they have pushed this executive order thing to be the reason why I tell you executive orders ain't law is because the next president that comes in can write executive orders to do away with all the executive orders the former president just did. That tells you right there,
He just
law.
He stripped the border ones out. Like, he gutted them. Everything that Trump was doing, man. He came in the first week and gutted all that and opened the border wide open again.
If it does not go through Congress, through the House of Representatives, through the Senate, and then to the president's desk, it is not a fucking law. Period.
Thank you, J954. They're going to try at some point. They're going to try and come and take them. Now, how that ends up, not for me to say. Not for me to say, brother, but they're going to try it at some point.
Yeah, exactly, Bama Jen. Exactly. Right there.
I grabbed the right one there.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, and that's there's something to be said about that, man, because think about this for a minute. A president that gets his full term only serves for 8 years. That's it.
Right.
We obviously need term limits in Congress, period. I don't think anybody
you do, but you need Congress to pass the term limits, and they're never going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
they're never going to hurt themselves financially.
That's
the problem.
Yeah, I understand that. I agree with that, but I'm saying that, you know, that no politician should ever be a career politician.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I know we need term limits bad, but I don't know how you do that without Congress. I mean, unless you go full revolt, or I mean, maybe it could go to the Supreme Court somehow. I don't know. You could have a convention of states. You could force it that way, but a convention of states, man, is dangerous because you could lose the Second Amendment and still not get term limits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got into that convention of states at first, man, and I signed up and actually joined in a couple of the meetings. They had some online meetings. They would send you a link and you could go and listen and
Yeah.
everything to the meetings. And I was all in it at first, man. And then I was sitting here one day and I said, you know, what if we did a convention of states and these corrupt politicians that are out there, because that's who you got to depend on, is
Yeah.
the fucking politicians to hold true to what they say, what their constituents want. Well, they're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Show me. I mean, there's very very few House of Representatives or Senate people who stay pretty true to their commitment or their constituents. It's very 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 few. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. You know, I don't know. Well, that's
I mean, I think the way it's laid out, you can send as many representatives from each state as you want, but only one person is casting a vote.
yes,
One vote per state.
yes,
And I'm thinking about the international billionaires, how easy it would be to compromise those people. You know, 30, 40, 50 people is all you have to compromise. You got to compromise the majority of that.
right.
Then you could strip mine the Constitution and point and say, well, it was legal. We used the Constitution to do it.
Yeah, and that's the it kind of made me real damn nervous, man. I was like, hell, I can sit here and if you asked me, I will tell you, no, I don't trust politicians at all. So why would I trust them with jacking around with the Constitution? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in a convention of states, man, I'm like, ooh, boy, yeah, no, I'm kind of out on that shit. You know, I'm not. That's a really scary thought, man. They could go in there and pull a slick one and vote our First Amendment and Second Amendment right out, just bam, right off the bat, just doom, it's gone,
they're,
and then it's
they're
gone.
already working on the First
What
Amendment
is it?
anyway,
30,
man.
35 states total, I think, for a
Yeah.
convention of
I
states.
believe so. I believe
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
and so yeah, man. I mean that, boy, damn, you know. I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't, I'm, yeah, I don't want to fool with the Constitution, man. Um,
Not like that, man, because you're
oh,
talking about making major changes overnight,
oh,
and there's no safety on it at that point.
man, could you imagine waking up tomorrow morning? There's a convention of states tonight, and you go to bed thinking, man, hell yeah, they're going to vote in to
Term limits.
ratify the Second Amendment to say that all Americans, you know, whatever, make it like this, and then you wake up the next morning and they're like, yeah, they voted to do away with the Second Amendment. Americans no longer have a Second Amendment right now. I'd be
Yeah.
like, whoa, buddy, wait a minute. Well, all hell
I,
and chaos is going to break loose.
I mean, they could take your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, and put you under the UN,
Can
under everything UN overnight.
right. So yeah, I'm not good with the convention of states, man, just for that reason. It's
So go
too
ahead,
ris-
brother.
too risque.
I was just going to bring up a final point that I had was the First Amendment. Seems like they're coming after that now. I seen the FBI has already been caught. The White House has been caught messing with social media, pressuring like Meta and stuff to pull posts and stuff like this down. That went through the Supreme Court. The wording was weird,
Yep.
but basically the Supreme Court is not going to stand in the way of that happening, as it's written right now, at least.
Well,
That's a problem, brother.
the reason why is because the wording was disinformation, and you have the right to freedom of speech, but freedom of speech has consequences, and I think the wording through that particular case the wrong way because of I could see the Supreme Court, even the conservatives ones, sitting up there saying, well, we don't need them spreading a bunch of disinformation that can harm people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't agree with what they said, because I think they should have addressed the bigger issue that a president or a president's administration should not be able to, nor the FBI nor any of them should be able to go in and use their power, their authority to make a social media company.
Especially during the election season, man.
Yes, exactly. So I can kind of see, because exactly, Blaine, and I agree with that 100%, because they said many things during the COVID was misinformation, and come to find out now, or disinformation. Come to find out now, it's actually all true. So
Yeah.
um, anytime you can't question science, it's propaganda. It's not
Yeah, it's not
science.
science at that point.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and people will say, well, you can just get off of social media and you can hold up signs out in the street and stuff like this. But the problem is, so many people are tied into social media. It's almost like this is part of free speech at this point. If you're not free to speak online, man, everybody's online. If you're not free to voice your opinion online, you're not going to reach very many people.
Well, it's like CNN had threatened of automatically removing, any, like, YouTube or social media platforms that would air the debate last night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a presidential debate. That's not, nobody has the grip on that. It's not one particular fucking news agency that gets to only report on that. That's a presidential debate. You know what I mean? It's for all Americans. So really and truly, it's a fair use deal, and they should not be allowed to remove any platform that, any channel or whatever that aired that last night. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it was a presidential debate.
Well, what they'll probably say is, CNN hosted it. They
Don't
wanted the advertising dollars and
matter.
stuff like this, and
But it don't
you know what
matter.
I mean.
Um,
I understand that, but
it's a
that's the
presidential
excuse
debate.
they'll use.
Oh, I realize that, but it's still a presidential debate. You're talking about the two people that are bidding for the president of the United States, man, and we're, nobody can air that. Not, well, what if people don't have CNN?
Right. They want you to sign up for it.
Yeah, well, what if you don't have it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
I'm
trying to
just
read
going.
the chat.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat too as well. Um, I watched the debate on Blaze TV. I guess people were saying Rumble was down while the debate was going on, but I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't check Rumble
I didn't
during
check
the debate.
Rumble, but I actually was flipping through a couple of the different ones who were doing the debate, airing it, and there was a couple of them that said they tried to. There were some people in chat, and then they had said something about Rumble being down. I didn't go and
That's
check.
no coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Meta, X, Instagram, Facebook, all deleted.
Yeah, a bunch of people were saying Rumble was down. I caught the replay early this morning, but I seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I watch. I didn't like go and check this morning or anything, but just initial scan, it looked like there was some people streams that were still up that had the debate on. I don't know, you know. I just wanted to watch it just to so I'd be able to talk about it and such. And I have
My takeaway was that Joe Biden that I saw in the debate, there ain't no way he's winning re-election. But if he does somehow, we're in serious trouble, brother.
yeah.
Serious trouble.
Well, they'll have to cheat just like they did in 2020, man. I mean, we can say that now because there's multiple court cases in Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania and Michigan. There's multiple court cases, man, where they came out and flat admitted, yeah, this there was cheating. We violated all the rules. These never should have been certified, man. You take them states right there, just them states in particular, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and if there was, they have found that there was massive voter fraud in them particular states. This is just what the court has said.
Right.
And so you take that into consideration, man. Trump's the president, and we're not in the mess we're in. I mean, that's all there is to it. They stole it, and that's the only way that they will be able to win this time. Ain't nobody there wasn't 81 million people that voted for him last time. I'm just telling you now.
No, I saw the town halls. There was like 20 people there when he was speaking.
Well, yeah, I don't dance around as much when I'm on my channel. But when I go on other platforms, I do try to control what I say just because I don't want to. I already got somebody a strike a couple of weeks ago. I went up on their panel. They were begging me to come up. I went up on there, and we got into a debate over the hokey pokey and the other medications and such that were available. And yeah, he got a strike for 7 days. So I felt bad, man, to go on somebody's channel and get them a strike. But
let's finish it up there with these YouTube streets. I heard you talking about that. You coined that phrase, these YouTube streets, on your video last night. I'm just curious, man, since you've been doing YouTube, these YouTube streets, what have you learned? What have you encountered that you didn't think you was going to encounter as a creator? What's some of the most ridiculous stuff you've ever seen?
I'll be flat honest. Very first, what you just asked, what did I expect to encounter? I honestly never expected to probably get more than 3 or 4 subscribers. I really didn't. I did not expect to get as many subscribers as I do, and that's the first and foremost. I went in to talk to my wife, and I'm like, man, I got 100 subscribers. I'm like, what the heck, and I was just humbled all the way through. But as far as it goes for what I've learned, first off, just because someone has a smiling face or is polite in chat, that doesn't mean that we can be compatible in real life, everyday life. I've since we started doing these meetups, you get to learn people, and that's kind of what that's kind of what the meetups are designed for, to get to know each other, and so you have to understand that even if you chat with somebody for a pretty good while, that doesn't mean that they're good people. They can be good all they want to be in them comments. They can be good all they want to be right here behind this, this screen. When you start spending days with people, when you start spending days with people, you know what I'm saying? It's raining, it's hot, it's freaking, all your camping gear is all wet and muddy, you get to see who people really are. You know what I'm saying? So one thing I've learned is that, there's nothing wrong with what we do here. We do these podcasts, we, live streams and such, and we chat with each other. A lot of the chat people hang around in the same communities and stuff, different creators and such. But again, that doesn't mean, look at, I'll say it. Look at the pedophile fucking Michael G. How long did he be around? How long was he around? You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden we find out what, you know what I mean? So that goes to show, right there, that just because somebody is in chat and they talk good and they're funny and ha and they seem to say all the right things, that doesn't mean that they're good people. So that's one of the main things I've learned on YouTube is that, you know what I'm saying, that there's a lot of bullshit, there's a lot of fakeness on there, and you'll see a lot of people. I ain't never going to them meetups. I ain't going to them meetups. Yeah, well, are you afraid to be who, for people to see who you really are? Because that first day you can play nice. Second day, especially it's raining, like I said, all your gear's muddy, all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's miserable hot, something like that.
Miserable hot.
Everybody's pissed off.
Yeah, you start seeing the real people, and so these meetups are nice. No, but yeah. So that's kind of the YouTube streets for me. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I seen Angry Prepper one time said, if you're, he talked about this before, and he said, there was a lot of people that's come and gone on YouTube, and he said, if you make it 3, 4, 5 years and you're still got comments, you still got subscribers, you're still gaining some. He said, that's an accomplishment. It really is. And it is. And I agreed with him. I was like, yeah, that's, you're completely right about that, brother. Shit. I mean, it's, it's hard, man. Dude, I've made videos. I can't tell you how many times, and I always rewatch my videos before I release them, to check for corrections or whatever, something I might, and so, it's like, sometimes I've been like, yeah, that's just way too much, man. I'm not going to release that, and just like the video I made last night about the racism, man, and it was simply about a comment that someone made.
Yeah.
And bro, you wouldn't believe the people that got on there and was like, man, I hope it wasn't me. This, or are we still friends? Or, I mean, just all these comments. I'm like, well, if did you say something racist? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird, man.
I used to worry way too much about trying to please every single person I seen in chat.
Yes.
Yeah, that was out of the gates, man. I remember I had a poster. I don't even remember what was on it. It was either a poster or a metal sign. It was one of those like you would hang in a garage. I had a pinup chick on it, and somebody complained about it. And I remember I got off the live stream and I took it down. I'm like, I don't want to offend anybody. And then the next time I had a live stream, people were like, seriously, you didn't take that down because somebody was complaining. I learned over time, man, you can't please everybody.
You
just can't do it.
That's why I've been so forward about, I know I'm not for everybody. And if I understand that, and I'm cool with it. I'm who I am, and I'm not going to change for anybody. We have said it multiple times. If you don't like the content, if you want this other type of content, go start a channel and do the content yourself. You know what I mean? It's real simple, you know, start a channel, hit record. I mean, you can do it from your phone. You can do it from
It's
compute.
it's more time consuming than it looks, y'all. I'm just saying.
Yes, it is.
It looks like it don't take no time at all, but I'm telling you,
Well,
it
it's
does
like
sometimes.
last night, man. I'm gonna be flat honest with you. I finished all my jobs yesterday, so I had today off, right? Man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be flat honest. I was like, man, I want to sit back and I was actually going to invite a few people backstage last night. I had one of them that normally comes backstage with us on Friday nights and Saturday nights, hitting me up about the debate last night, wanting, you know, asking my opinion and stuff on it, and we text back and forth several times. And normally, I would have said, you know, hey, let's just go backstage, man. Hell, I'll invite, you know, this one, Yankee Watchdog is one of them who hangs out with us backstage, man. Cool dude, man. Great guy. I've been chopping it up with Yankee for years, man. He's been to our meetups, man. Cool dude, man. Love the shit out of that guy. But you know, I was sitting there and I was like, well, crap, man. I really need to. I need to watch the debate. You know, I watched the debate. I was like, I really need to go and listen to other people's opinions, what CNN's saying after the debate, you know. So I've got, you know what I'm saying, some talking points. So I wanted to sit up and, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to sit up and drink some drinks last night, go backstage and hang out with my family. You know what I'm saying? Them people are my
Yeah.
family. And I was like, damn, man, it's already like 10:35, 10:40. And I was like, shit, man, I really need to get some sleep because I need to get up and do the radioactive podcast in the morning. You see what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot more into going live or being on a live stream or making content. There's a whole lot more to it than people understand. You know, I mean, I
I take way
basically,
too many notes. I can tell you're like, man, let's just. He says this before we go live, y'all. He really does. Man, let's just go in and run with the chat. Whatever the chat wants to talk about, we'll talk about. And I'd usually come in with a bunch of notes,
well,
and we
I
just think
got some
alike,
notes.
man.
I got some notes. Actually, I wanted to bring this up.
Okay. We'll bring it up, bro.
So you know, and we're talking about, you know, just then, you know, about you know, you can be who you want to be, yada yada, all that stuff on YouTube, you know. And I blame the way I am on the therapist that I went and seen years ago. You know, I went
Really?
and seen it. Yeah, I went and seen a therapist years ago, man, and he basically told me to fuck everyone that don't like me. And I looked at him and I was like, well, damn, bro, that's a lot of sex, man. You know, because there's a lot of people that don't like me. If I try to fuck all of them, man, you know, that's a lot of sex, man. And then, not to mention the fact that I got to thinking about it even more at the time, and I was like, well, damn, there's a lot of dudes that don't like me, man, and that would make me gay, man, and I'm not gay, you know. So
I
it
mean,
really,
I
the
was getting ready to
therapist,
ask you if this is your coming out party here. Isn't it Pride Month or something like that?
yeah, and you know, so the therapist really confused me, man, and I was just like, I don't
We
know.
love you no matter what, Backwoods. I mean, you can be yourself, man. We just want you to be yourself.
You know, and real quick, speaking on the camping thing, you know, I was thinking about this idea the other day, you know, and I seen a lot of people talking about camp, you know, because we just did the meetup, you know, and everything, and was talking about camping and things like that. And I had an idea because I seen someone talking about they had one of these mattresses, you know, the little blow up air mattress thing, and it had deflated on them or something, and they was talking about alternatives to these air
Yeah.
mattresses, you know, because they start
They were
deflating in the,
booming in the tent. That's what happened on that. Go ahead,
well,
man.
they start deflating in the middle of the night, you know. That kind of sucks. You got to get up and blow the damn mattress back up. But I was thinking, if you're going to sleep on an air mattress, you know, an alternative would be a blow up doll, man. um well, I mean, think about it, dude. If you got a blow up doll, man, you could like sleep with it and you could sleep on it all at the same time, and it would be the perfect camping object because it's never going to complain. It's not going to be, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's rainy, I'm hungry. None of that shit. You just sleep, get you a blow up doll, man, for your air mattress, and
It's
you got it
not
made.
going to eat your rations. You don't have to cook for it. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
What would yours look like, Kamala Harris? I'm just curious.
No, it would have Arby's roast beef sandwich on it.
Nasty, man. Yeah.
Oh my
Kathy says,
god.
I think I'm done here. I think we're done here too.
Yeah,
We're way off it.
I
We
like to
done went
throw.
through the gutter. We're out in the field somewhere now.
I like to throw in some. I sit around all week long, honestly, and try to think of crazy shit like that to say just to see his reaction, man. It's
He'll be out there mowing out in the heat, and he's like, I wonder what's nastier than roast beef. What else could I bring up?
yeah. I do, man. I just do it for fun, man, guys.
Don't forget Hutch ate
Yes,
a
Dynamite.
Vanny Snickers.
Yes, Dynamite. We had a discussion about that.
Thank you, Jay 954.
Yeah, thank you, Jay.
I don't even remember what the picture was, but yeah, I just screenshot it and sent it to you.
Yeah.
I still got it on my phone somewhere.
Yeah, like I said, guys, I do always like to try to do this. I didn't do it yesterday. I don't think in the video. I have to go back and look and see if I mentioned it. Part of the reason why the video yesterday, about the stupidity of racism and things like that, man, we got so many problems out there. I was watching a video before I went backstage this morning, with Nation, and before we started this stream, and it was this dude, this couple standing there at a table. It looked like an outside diner thing. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, finish the story, man.
So anyway, yeah, he's so this couple was just standing there. It looked like an outside diner type thing. They're standing there by the table, probably paying the bill or something. And this dude walks by, and he's got a walking stick, and he just freaking cracks this dude in the back of the head, man. As soon as he walked past him, just cracks him in the back of the head. And I mean, it just, dude collapses, man, and dude just keeps on walking, Was it a hit? I don't know, as far as it goes for purposefully, or was it just a normal random deal? People are getting like that. When you're out in public, pay freaking attention to everything going on around you, man. Dude, there's the thing that happened in Arkansas the other day with the guy with the shotgun, man. He just gets out at a Piggly Wiggly at a freaking grocery store and just starts freaking shooting. Or no, it's Mad Butcher, I think. Mad Butcher. Whichever one it was, they have them both here. I mean, pay attention in public, man. I seen another video where a couple was walking with their children, and a lady legit just walks up and stabs one of them children, and then attempted to stab the other one, and the dad gets involved, and she tried to stab him. And it was a random, she just said, basically she don't like kids. And she just randomly stabbed this person, man. This kid. And they weren't paying attention. They were just walking and talking, and they come up from behind, and boom. Dude, keep y'all's head on a swivel. When we talk about situational awareness, this is what we're talking about. Be aware of the situation you are in at all times. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, man. These people have went nuts.
If they're going to come at you, make them work for it. Do not be low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying?
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Make them work
for it. Poet, what?
Like a poet, brother.
Like a poet. You got anything else, Backwoods? because I got yard work to do, and it's supposed to be 90 degrees
Stay
today. I'm like,
hydrated, brother. People, y'all stay hydrated. If you got elderly neighbors, check on them. Make sure their electricity is on. If you get a blackout in your area and you do know of an elderly person or two around, make sure check on them. It don't take it don't cost you anything, man. It really don't. It don't cost you anything to go and check on people, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially the elderly, man. You know what I mean?
it's great. That's great, man. That is awesome.
The heat is
All right.
the heat will kill you.
I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, Backwoods, for being here. Just in case you don't know, you've been living in a cave. The man has a channel on YouTube. I always type in Backwoods Prepper, and it just pops right up. First one at the top there. But appreciate it very much. Y'all take care, and God bless.